It's time for Movie Spotlight, your weekly ticket to the world of film, from the hottest blockbusters to hidden indie gems and everything in between. And joining us today in the studio are our resident movie critics, Darcy Paquet. Hello, Darcy.
Hello.
And Jason Bechervaise. Welcome, Jason.
Hi, Alana.
Now, we're actually going to start with our foreign release today. This week, one of the year's biggest Hollywood blockbusters hit the screens. James Cameron releasing his third film in his Avatar franchise. Now, the first Avatar was released back in 2009. It went on to become the highest grossing movie of all time. A sequel, Avatar: The Way of Water, opened in 2023. Now, assuming this new work is successful, we could have two more Avatar films before the end of the decade. Jason, this is your pick this week. Tell us a bit more about Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Yeah, just when you say possibly two more films, that sends shivers down my spine.
You're shaking your head.
Yeah, so this movie is, big. It's massive, $400 million. That's what it costs to produce, and the running time is, well over 3 hours. It's set on this faraway moon called Pandora. So, yeah, I mean, much of the, the visual effects you expect from a James Cameron movie. James Cameron is obviously, globally so famous for his, his blockbuster films, not just the Avatar movies, but films like Titanic,
of course, yeah.
And Terminator, and The Abyss, and many others. And the expectations are really high for this film, as you'd expect. The first one grossed $2.9 billion, which is an all-time record. You can never literally underestimate James Cameron when people have written him off, as they did with Titanic, and they did again with Avatar, and they did again with Way of Water. He just has a habit of just kind of saying, well, be careful what you say. The sequel grossed $2.3 billion, which ranks third most successful film of all time. And so, this comes as, Hollywood movies and the business globally is struggling. So there's much riding on this, and, bringing back people into theatres for the big screen experience, and, premium large formats, so IMAX and so on and so forth. Movie star Sam Worthington, I say stars, it kind of, it's a blend of live action, and all the rest of it. Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Kate Winslet, Stephen Lang, among others.
So massive in length, massive in budget, massive in expectations. Before we dive into this latest release, for those who haven't seen the previous films or maybe don't remember all of the details, Jason, can you fill us in on the story and how it develops in this new film?
So it's a colony of humans. I mean, this is the first movie. They land on this this planet, and there's this highly intelligent species called Na'vi, and of course humans want to colonize it and exploit it for its resources. So this. Obviously, you could see parallels to a lot of what, America's done over the years. You've got Jake Sully, who basically he's joined the Na'vi and become one of them. Mm-hmm. He's a kind of avatar of sorts, and he inhabits the body of Na'vi, and he starts his own family. And then you have in the second film Jake and his family forced to leave their original home and then go out and resettle in the water. And then third movie opens, and it's basically deja vu. Community's threatened again from bad humans, but also this time you've got another tribe who've rejected some of their old ways, and kind of they're quite scary actually. So it's just war on all fronts.
Okay. Now, you've just touched on the fact that some people are saying that the story is quite similar in the second film, but what kind of, I suppose, new elements in this film stood out to you, if any?
Basically, I had real issues with this film.
Okay.
As I kind of mentioned before, we went on air. To me, it kind of starts off with this opening set piece. Yeah, it's quite visually spectacular. And then you have a bit of character development, and then you have another kind of set piece, and it's basically that throughout the whole film. Okay. And it's kind of building up for this, climatic sequence, which feels very kind of Hollywood and blockbustery and all the rest of it. By which time I wanted to bang my head against the wall, because I don't know, I just didn't care all that much about the characters.
Okay.
I mean, James Cameron, I don't think he's the world's best storyteller, but I think he is a great technician. But some have talked about how his films there's an emotional resonance to them, which is true. I felt that with The Way of Water. I felt that with movies even like Titanic, even Terminator, actually. But here, I don't know. It just didn't work for me. Now that might be because I was very tired, but some of the complaints have been that it's just very repetitive, just recycling the same story, pretty much the same sequences, and I also found it. I don't know whether it was my screen, and James Cameron has talked about the settings that it needs for it to be the perfect viewing experience, but it just felt a little bit sloppy, actually.
Okay.
Did you see it in 3D?
I did not see it in 3D, and maybe that was what it was. Maybe because I didn't see it in 3D, maybe I didn't see it in the right format. Wasn't maybe the projection wasn't as it should have been, and actually that happens quite a bit in some cinemas, I've noticed.
Yeah. But it is a high frame rate, and sometimes those just look really strange.
But it does, it looks really weird. And like your head is your brain's trying to compute all this information like visually, and it kind of looks like a video game. And I don't know, it's like he's trying too hard to stun us. And in so doing, it's kind of, I don't know, he's gone too far. And actually I came out with a bit of a headache, and maybe in the right format, in the right mood, I might think differently. I went to see it with my son, and actually he was like, well, it's okay, it wasn't too bad. I was looking over, he seemed to be pretty engaged. And there is obviously a huge market for Avatar, and I'm not really one of its biggest fans, but I didn't read the whole review, but there was one famous outlet that gave it 1 star, and actually I kind of agree with some of that which I saw in that. Yeah.
Darcy, did you see it in 3D, and are we also getting a 1-star review from you, or what are you rating it?
I saw it in 2D.
Okay.
3D gives me a headache. And so,
Right.
Lots of headaches this week.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of mixed by it. Like I can't really give it an enthusiastic review. There were parts of it that I liked. There were parts of it where it did really drag for me, and I was checking my watch. It is so long. Like I had to pack a lunch to eat in the middle of it because, it started at 11 a.m. and it finished at 2:30, and so it takes up just this big chunk of your day. And and it's true that particularly kind of the end of the film feels very similar to the end of the second film, and so it's sort of like, didn't we do this in the last film already? And with slight variations, but what I did like about the film were the villains. I thought the villains were a bit more interesting than, in particular, like this new Ash tribe. The head of this tribe is, a new character who's very intense and kind of interested in power. And I think to me, she was the more interesting character, at least up until the point where she joins forces with another character. And at that point, her character doesn't really stand out for me.
Yeah, I mean,
much.
what happened to her at the end? Or did I just nod off?
Yeah, I mean, she was no longer the center of attention. There was a time in the middle of the film where she was really kind of the most exciting thing happening in the film, and then yeah, I mean, she kind of goes into the background, which doesn't suit her character at all. Like she's this very take control,
fiery person.
kind of
Yeah.
personality. So that was a bit disappointing.
Now, obviously, we'll have more data after the weekend, but Jason, what are the early signs in terms of box office and audience response?
Yeah, I mean, it should make around $350 million worldwide over the weekend. Obviously, China's a crucial market because that earns, $500 million there. Zootopia 2 earned $500 million there in just a few weeks. And reservations here are very strong. It sold 700,000 tickets. The reaction, it's not been as bad as I thought it might have been, so it might do quite. I don't think it's going to do as well as the other films. It definitely won't do as well as the first movie, which is what that didn't it do like 13 million, sell 30 million tickets?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not going to do that. Yeah, it'll do okay, but I wonder whether for so long we underestimate Jim. They call him Jim Cameron or James Cameron, but now are we overestimating him? That's the reaction I got when I came out of the film.
Yeah, that's what they said last time.
He listens. He's like, "You idiot!"
Famous last words of the film critic.
Well, I think we have a top tip from Mr. Darcy Paquet is bring a lunch, perhaps, and
Yes,
that might help the viewing experience. We're going to turn now to our Korean release. Not surprisingly, there was no Korean commercial films that decided to go head-to-head at the box office with Avatar: Fire and Ice this week. Nonetheless, there were a couple low-budget Korean independent films that opened on the same day as James Cameron's epic. Darcy, you're going to be introducing one of them for us. It's a romantic drama of sorts titled Don't Go Back.
Yes, and actually I'm curious about the English title because in Korean it's titled 고백하지마, which means don't confess in the romantic sense of don't confess your feelings to someone that you like. But that's exactly what happens in the first scene of the film. It's a film about filmmakers, and actually they're kind of all playing themselves. Like their names are the same as their real life names, but it's the day after an independent film has wrapped shooting. That is a real film apparently, although it hasn't been released yet. And the cast and crew are getting breakfast in the morning. One of the actors sees his co-stars sitting outside, and so he goes down and sits next to her, and he starts talking and starts rambling a bit, and before long he's confessed that he likes her. And she laughs a bit at his long confession, and then admits that she's not really that interested in him. It's not like a cruel rejection, it's not a fight or anything like that, but it does end rather awkwardly. And in a way, this is the most dramatic moment of the film, like right at the beginning. The morning goes on. The two of them kind of go off and talk to the other crew members. The other people have kind of figured out what's happened. And so there is this awkward mood, among the group. And then later we jump 3 months into the future. Both of the main characters are kind of feeling that their careers aren't really going anywhere. They're a bit frustrated, and both of them end up going down to Busan for different reasons. And eventually they have a chance meeting in Busan.
So it sounds like it's not a super complicated plot. Can you tell us a bit more about what kind of film it is and its style?
Yeah, it's very conversation heavy. I think that, it's true that almost nothing happens in the film, but the actors at least are good enough so that they always keep your attention. I think the film was shot with no script, apparently. Like they kind of gave the actors their situation, but they're very good at improvisation, and so they make it feel really natural and engaging. One thing, having lived in Korea a long time and worked in the film industry, I know a lot of independent filmmakers, and I think it really kind of captures the particular life of an independent filmmaker quite well. There is a lot of struggle because you don't have kind of regular work come in, and there are some kind of funny scenes in here where the actress, for example, speaks before this small group of people in Busan, and on the one hand they're kind of excited about meeting an actress, and on the other hand they kind of mock her for not being very famous, and they don't seem to take her work very seriously. But yeah, when you step back, there's kind of a clever little twist at the end, but not much has happened in the film, and so it's the kind of film that makes you ask, like, what is what is film anyway? Like, what do you need in order to make a film? If a film this simple can be put together and then we call it a film, it was kind of an experience watching it for me because I had to watch Avatar and this movie back to back. That was the only way it worked in my schedule. So after 3.5 hours of Avatar, I rush across the city and then watch this, which is a 70-minute film. It's, completely different.
Right.
Couldn't be more different. And yet, both of them are movies, but they're both, their strengths and weaknesses are just so completely different.
Quite the contrast.
Yeah.
Who's the director of this film?
The director, Yoo Hyun-kyung, has been acting in film and TV since the mid-1990s. She's the one who plays the actress, the leading role, one of the leading roles in this film, using her real name. And she's made a couple short films before this as a director, but this is her first feature film that she directed. But to a certain extent, it was kind of a collaborative experience because her co-star, the actor Kim Chung-gil, he co-wrote the script together with another actor-musician, Kim Ok-ki, who appears in the film, does the music. And yeah, so I think all of them kind of work together.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the million-dollar question, Darcy, would you recommend it to viewers?
I mean, it did put a smile on my face. It's a film that, it's very realistic, it's a little bit sad at the same time. The characters don't really feel like they're going anywhere. And, that's rare to watch a film where, the main characters seem to be just kind of spinning their wheels and not progressing in life in any way. And yet it is kind of, the ending is kind of sweet in a way. And so it gives you, it left me with a good impression. If you watch the trailer online, it's not very good, but I think the film itself is quite good. And, at just 68 minutes long, it feels like the perfect length.
A little more refreshing, it sounds like, compared to Avatar. Sadly, I didn't get to see it because I blame James Cameron, actually, because his movie was too long. But I do like Yoo Hyun-kyung as an actress. She's been around in Korean films for decades. I've been watching her in films ever since I got interested in Korean cinema, more than 20 years ago. So yeah, I'm very curious to hear what she's.
And it sounds
up
like
to behind.
much easier to squeeze that one into your schedule to go. And
Yeah.
Finding a theater is the tough part.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's only at a couple of theaters around the city. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to wrap up today's movie spotlight. Our thanks, as always, to both our film critics for joining us. Darcy Paquet, thank you.
Thank you.
And Jason Bechervaise, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.